Welcome to Board Ghost, a story broadcast with games as the engine.
If living is a highway, then heaven is a bus stop. Been waiting for a minute there, or has it been forever? 'Cause dying don't agree with me.
We believe you're out there, hungry for stories for shared experience. We can't see you, can't hear you, yet we will play for you. This night's offering is a continuation of our game of Tall Pines. To learn how we generate stories playing the game Tall Pines, go check out our Tall Pines rules primer. We are using the Deep Space Monitor variant that gives you a little more of an X-Files feel instead of the base game's Twin Peaks feel. Our humble players, myself, John Holt, with me.
Ken Breeze.
And I'm Sharang Biswas.
All right, Sharang, welcome back.
Welcome.
I'll just kind of give a quick rundown. We have a mystery. There are people who are being controlled to attack young hooligans in the town. And one of them has ended up dead. This young woman who had once been more, I guess, straight-laced and beloved by the town.
But then she got bullied for being queer and
Exactly.
left school.
Mhm,
She's
yep.
joined this queer separatist youth gang.
Mm-hmm. And it's like one of a sort of misunderstood gaggle of kids in this town. There's a pretty big gap, I think, between the youngest generation of people and the elders of the town. So you have two agents who have been brought in to deal with this case. The believer, this believer is Thersea Mills. She kind of has these ideas of old accounts of witch trials and this persuasive sort of devil's tongue that could be tied to what's been happening here. That there are these people who have been arrested who have no memory of doing these things, and we haven't really talked to them yet, but maybe off screen we have. Because one of them at least showed us a
We've talked to
bump
him.
or something
We've
that went away.
Yeah, and then we have Alisha Sunderwala, the rational, who always wears a sari, usually brightly colored. And she's more like, no, psychology, no, gang violence and interrelationship among youths and things like that.
And she, like, maybe hallucinations, mass hysteria, power suggestion, some stuff that's a little more, like, clinical
Yep.
in her reasoning. Also, there's this blackmail of, like, a potential government program that our guys, they aren't totally hamstrung, but they need to be careful that they aren't exposing anything that they shouldn't be.
Yeah.
And this might be being held over them.
Because a mysterious flash drive was found.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Are other characters in play here besides Thersea Mills, the believer, and Alisha Sunderwala, the rational? We have a student filmmaker, a guy in his 20s, grad student, like doc maker, trying to make a true crime doc / like follow these lives of these kids. Paul Kather. We have Huck Diamond, who's our local sheriff. He's in his 50s, a long-serving, voted-in sheriff, kind of represents the staid parts of the town. And we learned through Paul's tapes that Huck was actually maybe leveraging information he had or be somehow having an affair or some sort of dealings with the victim. And we've also got a couple other characters in play. We have Randy. He's this basically street-dwelling drug dealer, Eccentric, who wears some sort of like hippy-dippy Hawaiian kind of print clothes, like a Jimmy Buffett meets the Grateful Dead kind of situation going on with him.
Yeah, meet Santa Claus.
And I think that's it, right?
Chris Zhang.
And Chris Zhang. He is the best friend of the young woman who's passed, and
Also in the gang.
a tatted, pierced in the gang.
And he led us to these farms where we saw some
And he got his leg
things.
smashed in. All right, so that is where we're at. Things are just getting weirder, and I think that's how this game rolls. So we're going to get into the continuation of Act 2. We have another scene, and then I think we'll get into Act Close.
So I would like to play Lost in the Fog. Trees swim in and out of view while the sounds of movement remain barely just audible, And I'm actually going to play as the best friend, Chris Zhang, who is now on crutches. The break wasn't as bad as everyone had thought. It was just more
Yes.
bloody and pulpy. It
Yes.
is slightly fractured, so he has a little cast, but he also is not going to listen to the doctors when they say stay mobile. He has no family.
He will not.
Right? He has no family. What's he going to do? So he's on
He
crutches.
seeks out his community.
Yeah, he's on crutches, and he thinks he is heading towards the mall area where the gang would hang out.
Cool.
So
Is this the
that's-
abandoned warehouse?
Yes, the abandoned warehouse. Yeah,
That you were talking about?
Yeah, it's like a big box
Filmmaker
store. Box
told
store,
us about. Yeah.
Mhm.
And so we have a blue and a gray in play, and we have the best friend lost in fog. He chances upon the local sheriff, Huck Diamond. I'm gonna play the best friend.
Yeah.
So I'm hobbling, and it's surprising. Suddenly there's this fog, and I'm looking around like, hey guys, hello?
It's when high beams come on.
Ah,
Just these big car lights flash on. And they sort of blind you.
hello?
And you hear a voice saying, "What you doing out here?"
Oh, Big D. I'm just going to the mall, to the warehouse.
"Sorry, kid. It's closed."
Just gonna hang out outside the warehouse.
"Sorry,
Big D.
kid. It's closed."
What the hell's going on?
"Nothing that you need to worry your pretty face about."
You can't stop me going where I want. I know my rights.
You hear a gun cocking. I
Like-
told you, it's closed.
Whoa. What the hell? You're gonna shoot a defenseless, injured kid?
I don't know. Some gutter punk came at me. Just trying to defend myself.
Oh yeah, some gutter punk with a broken knee rushed at you, right? That's really gonna be believable. Those feds are really gonna believe that, aren't they?
Mm-hmm. They sure will.
He's backing away because he's frightened,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
he trips over a dead. Now it's a deer. So things are getting like bigger.
Mm.
He trips. He shrieks, and the crutches go flying, and disappear somewhere.
All right, I will play one. Strange Methods. A ritual of divining, as obscure as it is arcane, and perhaps created from whole cloth for this occasion, but its revelatory power is undeniable, uncanny. As you trip over, what did you trip over? You
A dead deer.
A dead deer, exactly.
A big animal.
And you realize that the deer itself is only one amongst many that have been spread in certain configurations here. And all their entrails have been taken out, and the fog has been concealing their sort of steaming bodies. They've all been killed very recently. Amongst them, you're also seeing bodies of some of the other gutter punks, your friends.
So I scream. I literally scream and turn around, and I'm like, what the hell's happening? Sheriff, do you see all this?
The lights go out. Click.
That's the end of the scene.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Is it though?
No, is it
Oh.
though?
It
Because
would
that's-
be the end of the scene,
Because
but
as the lights go out, there's a crackling and a whoosh and a roar as where once there was darkness with the lights out and the fog everywhere, and you just in the midst of horror. Now everything is lit. The sheriff stands over you, backlit, with the entire big box store on fire behind him.
I think that's a good end of the scene.
All right.
Okay, so my best friend, if your feelings towards the victim change, they did not.
Okay.
So,
And what about
and then
this
the
guy?
sheriff is, if you sought details about the murder in the last scene, they did not.
Mm-mm.
So we go ahead and pick up with the end of Act 2.
You can't see the stranger's face. They're sitting in the shadows, huddled and shaking, and it's just you and them. No one else around, probably for miles. You steel yourself, preparing to resist whatever command they give you, when they tearfully reveal that they were being controlled by someone. Understanding include the true controller's voice. So Thersea Mills is in the scene here.
Definitely.
The scene
Alicia's
is,
in the scene too. Paul's going to be in this scene as well. While this fire is raging, we've been back with Paul going through the footage.
That's right.
Trying to
yeah.
learn all that we can. So this is sort of a montage of like microfiche and all this bullshit, like chasing down all these little like fiddly leads, and
a lot of footage of the victim moving from place to place,
Right.
and interacting with people.
and the last kind of bit is we get a call on the phone. The deputy saying, "They just arrested the sheriff. Something's off." And so the next bit of footage we see is just our car peeling out. Paul kind of taking his headphones off and looking around, and we're gone. So he's out of the scene, I guess.
I
We'll
guess
see. Sure.
So Huck's in the scene.
Huck's gone. They pull up to the police station, and there are ambulances, like ringing the police station. And so they pull up, and there's just lights everywhere. They rush in, fling open the doors, and there are paramedics, like struggling to lift. In every cell, there's just different people. This older woman we had talked to had shown us her growth. The sheriff is in the cell, hung by his own belt strap, and they're trying to lift him up to like say to get him cut free. The paramedics are trying.
Is he dead?
Who knows?
They're
Are they-
working. They're
okay.
working to save everyone. They've got some people already down on the ground, but it looks like something all these people simultaneously killed themselves. We think, or attempted to. Looking on this scene, we look towards the end of the jail, and there's one other thing everything else is active, just crazy madness. And there's a figure silhouetted against the back door of this jail who is just standing stock still. And as we catch a glimpse of them and sort of hold their attention for a moment, we can't see much of them. They're still in darkness, and the door closes, and they're out in the night, and we make chase. And so we're on foot running through the woods. They finally collapse at the base of this twisted tree.
Nice.
Where we've chased them
That's
down
there
to.
after all.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I tackle them down to the ground, and they sock me one, and that's when you come up to them, and
With
you've
the
got your
gun,
gun,
yeah.
and you're holding it on, and it's what could only be a kind of a child. It's like a girl in a basketball uniform. She's tall, kind of stocky, and her eyes are glazed over, and her teeth are gritted.
And we see, once again, growth, or what we thought was a growth, upon her neck.
Yeah.
And as we're looking at it more closely now, we recognize it as quite fresh, and it looks as if she has been injected with something.
We watch as this growth recedes down her neck. She stands bewildered and shocked. She looks at the gun, and I go, Why'd you do it? Why did you tell all those people to kill themselves?
They were telling me. I had to. The sheriff, he brought me the medicine, and
Wait, what medicine?
What are you talking about? The sheriff tried to kill him. You made the sheriff kill himself too. You made all those people do all those terrible things. You made the sheriff burn down the house.
No. Did I?
Why have you been doing these things? Where did you get this?
No.
Did you make a dark pact?
Let's be
No.
calm. And no dark. Let's be calm about
Why would
this.
she run to this tree?
That is a good question. Why did you run to this tree? What are you doing here?
This is where I'm supposed to come.
Why do you have to come here?
I don't know. The sheriff gave me the medicine, and then I just
What
had to
medicine?
do
Can you
it.
show us? Do you have any of the medicine on you?
I don't know. He put something in me.
The sheriff did.
I think so. Can you put that away?
No. You can keep talking.
She's like, I want my mom.
We're going to have to place you under arrest, ma'am.
I want my mom.
We will
starts, like,
contact your
sobbing.
parents. I think we need to take her to psychiatric evaluation.
All right, you do that. I'm gonna look at this tree a little more. And as you kind of comfortably walking this girl away, I'm looking in the bow of this tree, and there's something that glints in my torchlight in the flashlight. And I pull out, there's a little like handheld microcassette recorder, and I rewind it and I hit play, and it's a masked voice saying, "First burn down the houses. Burn down the place where all the children play. You know the place, big man. Then, turn yourself in. More instruction to come." And you fast forwards a little bit, and other clips of this. "Make sure you get them all belts, kid. Make sure everybody's happy, locked up in their cells when you hand everything out. Oh, and, do me a favor and call the paramedics, just in the nick of time." Fast forward, and as he starts to play the next tape, we actually, the sound cuts. There's like a roar and rushing in Thersea Mills' ears as she listens to this next suggestion that we don't hear.
Ooh, very cool.
So you played this one. Well,
I did,
that's the end of the
but
act.
that's the end of the act, yeah.
Yeah, so let's talk about the rationale, right?
So the rationale did make calm rational assertions.
Sure, we can flip it.
So I'm gonna flip her.
If you believed someone's story in the last scene, flip this card over.
The believer. Did the believer believe?
Did the believer? I don't
Yeah,
think.
didn't you believe the victim story that someone did voices at her?
I think that Alisha did.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. You thought it was something more sinister.
Yeah, Alisha totally did. Yeah.
Yeah. We are into Act 3. I'm going to say mercy. I've got one. I'm going to be the rational. I'm taking power. Do you want to have a go at the believer?
Oh my God. Okay.
You're actually going to play as the
Oh, no,
believer?
so
You're gonna play as
difficult.
Teresa?
So this scene is kind of moments after. We're kind of cutting back from commercial. The believer is hearing, it's almost like narration to what we're seeing.
Mhm.
Yeah, so you hear like the tape, the masked voice, like narration as Alicia's kind of comforting this young
Helping the
woman
young
and bringing her
woman.
away. And it says, "Do your best to separate the officers from each other, dear. Well, first separate them from everyone else, and then try to get one of them alone if you can.
Uh-oh.
And then, well, someone else will take over." Click, and that's when the tape ends. The rational has got this young woman, and they're walking along. They both stop, and the girl shrieks, and standing before them is this figure cloaked in black, like in shadow against, in the trees further off. They kind of train a flashlight on the two. And Alisha said, be calm, it's fine. Hello? Young lady, listen, just be calm. Hello, can you help us? We're trying to find, we've kind of run through the woods. We're trying to find our way back to the police station.
And then you hear, "Halt! Stop!" as Teresa rushes, because she just heard this thing saying separate them. And then she's like, "Oh, shit." And so she's running with a gun. And she's like, "Freeze right there. Hands where I can see them. Stop now."
The flashlight drops. The light kind of spins and flashes. The two of us, we kind of leave the young woman behind. We rush towards where this flashlight is, like sits on the ground. Also there is a handgun. Alicia's like, oh, that was very close. Huh. We need to be much more careful. This isn't safe.
Of course it's not safe. I think that person was the one who's using the devil tongue. Remember I told you about this? They've been control. Like, here, listen to this. And I play the tape. I'm like, the woman, the girl, the cheerleader, the whatever, basketball player, she was also controlled by a voice just like this one. See this?
Yeah,
right,
and she
I'm
comes
right here.
up, and we play the tape for her. Do you recognize this tape, young lady?
Yes, that was the voice that told me everything to do. I remember that voice. That's the voice that told me to do these things.
See that dude over there has been doing something. I don't know if it's to do with the black voice or something to do with the chemicals, but they've been doing something to control these poor townspeople. And you know about this. I don't know, hypnosis or something?
Maybe there's something in the I don't know. This is we're gonna have to get some more data and more information.
Do we have time for more data? Half the people were there were going to kill themselves. We need to chase down this
They're
person.
safe now. We'll make sure they stay under watch. They could also be. We're talking about a mass hysteria event. Group suicides are not unheard of in these sorts of events.
And then how do we stop him from doing something else? So what if he goes to the school and then tells all of them to kill themselves?
At this point, I think that there is no mastermind individual. I think that there is just a series of people playing out basically a shared psychosis.
Who was that guy?
It was someone else who needs our help, I believe. And we're lucky that whatever craziness might have taken over them, they stopped in the last moment, or me and this young woman might have been killed.
I think there's something else. I think there's something else going on.
Possibly, but again, we need to look at what is most likely happening and who we have on hand. Why wouldn't they have just told us to kill each other or something? Why wouldn't they have just controlled us? If they have these sort of magic powers.
I don't know. I don't know if it works that way. Maybe we're strangers in town. But and like what's with all those dead animals? Like, look right there, and I've spotted a dead moose. They're getting larger.
You know, with the changing of the seasons.
Yeah,
and
seasons don't just change and kill everything else off. The beavers died. The pigeon. You saw the pigeons. The deer that there were reports of.
There will be catastrophic events as we get closer and closer to an unfortunate horizon with our climate change. I mean, we just have to be very careful about taking phenomena and trying to shoehorn them into one
How do you explain the tape? If it's all a mass hysteria, what is this tape?
The young woman recognized the tape. Why don't you ask her if she...
Right? The tape gave you instructions, you said?
Yes.
Or the voice?
Yes, the sheriff took me to the tree, and that's where I heard the voice.
The voice is telling people. I'm telling you.
Then we'll find the source of the voice, and we'll go from there. Okay? In that scene. So let's see. The rational... If your emotions were inflamed in the last scene, flip this card. They were not inflamed.
Yeah, the believer did believe the girl's story.
Right.
So that is flipped. So I have beyond the physical. It's a dream, but at the same time, more than that, you're aware you're in control of the killers they're waiting. If you mark them here, will they bear the mark upon waking? I'm going to say it's the best friend.
So you're having a dream as Chris.
Yes, because he was last in the woods. And like the fire happened and stuff, and he like passed out. So I'm praying Chris Zhang. In the dream, it's the student filmmaker, because Chris is in love with the student filmmaker.
Okay.
Which is why he like convinced the gang to like let the student filmmaker film them. Okay, so they're in the they're in the forest where the ring of dead.
They're in the ring of dead animals.
In the dream, right?
Paul's there, and he has a video camera. He's just videotaping.
Right, and Chris is just like, Paul, what are you doing here?
I'm doing my job.
You're filming me?
Yes, I'm filming you and everyone who's being affected.
Oh, affected by what?
By the compound.
The compound?
Yeah, the compound that was created to be injected into you. Tests.
Wait, what are you talking about?
You're doing great. Just keep acting natural.
I am acting natural. But he stumbles back and his leg is fine, right? He's like, wait, didn't I break my... What just happened? Where?
You did, yeah. You got a little too close, I think.
Did you kill my friend?
I mean, no. technically, Sheriff Diamond killed your friend. But they had a very twisted relationship. I have some great footage of that.
Did you like brainwash the sheriff to kill my friend?
I mean, the compound works in many different ways. We weren't sure how it would affect adults versus adolescents versus those of you who are still growing. With the sheriff, he was quite susceptible.
And he screams and swears and rushes towards this dream version, this dream person.
Yeah, and as he gets close, he's kind of been focused on the face, and the voice has trailed off, pulling away, like turning its head to face you now is this massive wolf with eyes glowing gold and blood dripping out of its maw. And you see Paul still training his camera on the two of you now with his throat completely ripped out. He kind of just trains the camera between you and this wolf that whose hackles raise and teeth bare.
And suddenly, of course, the worst moment, his knee is broken again. It's a dream, bad things happen, and but he has the crutch again, and he's like, ah! He's like trying to fend off the wolf with the crutch, and he's like screaming. But before he was screaming in rage, trying to rush at Paul. Now he's screaming in fear because there's like a wolf rushing at him. And he's trying to hit it with his crutches. It's the end of this scene,
Sure.
right?
Sure.
I don't see what... Okay, so for the best friend, did my feelings for the victims change? No, not at all.
And for our filmmaker, if you shared secret information in the last scene, flip this
So
card
that's
over.
interesting because
Yep.
he did, but it wasn't. It was
If
a
we don't
dream
know,
hit.
right?
But it doesn't
He's-
matter.
He's
right?
He's representing.
His symbol. Yeah, his
Right.
representations shared
That's
it.
so funny.
Okay, cool. So then my scene is a failed attack. Maybe the investigation was closing in. Maybe they just can't control their urges. Whatever the case, the murderer is driven to lash out. Fortunately, the attempt is botched. This is in
And
direct...
note that murder is the stranger.
The murderer is the stranger. In the scene will be myself as Thersea Mills, Shirang as Alisha Sunderwala, and John as the stranger, Paul Kather.
Oh, so you're determining that the stranger
I am.
is the
I am.
filmmaker.
That is what I
Nice.
believe. Paul and a few other random townspeople have broken into our hotel room, our motel room, and are trying to inject us with this shit. And so the door was just busted down, and I say, Alisha, wake up! They're
Ah,
breaking in!
what? Who? No, what? Who?
And I rush at one of the townsfolk and grapple with them, and I'm trying to throw them, hip toss them to the ground. Another one's coming at me, and I'm getting into fisticuffs. And I'm sort of like right crossing, left crossing.
I'm gonna play the Black Lodge.
Oh fuck!
You wake up there, but it feels like you're still dreaming. A voice calls you down the red halls, and you find its impossible source. So
I
I'm gonna
love it.
say, when I hear Alisha wake up, I wake up, but you see that I'm still asleep.
Alisha is still asleep.
Alicia's asleep, but Alisha mentally wakes up inside the Black Lodge. It making of Sandman, eternal waking.
Yeah, you should. That's exactly the way to think about it.
It looks like the motel.
Yeah.
But the walls are all red a little bit, and the floor is carpeted with that weird black and
plushy.
white. Yeah. Your voice is calling, Alisha, wake up, help me, from down the corridor, and I'm trying to run to that corridor to get to you, but the corridor is lengthening and lengthening and lengthening, and written in the the pile of the carpet is somehow spelling out the words, keep sleeping, go to sleep, you're tired, keep sleeping.
Coming out of this, there's this scrum. There are gunshots.
Yep.
And the scene freezes for a moment, and the people scatter. Standing, holding your service revolver, is Paul Kather.
Put the gun down, Paul.
I can't.
Put it
I
down!
can't stop. I can't stop.
Don't!
Why did you make me do this? Why did you make me do this?
No! Stop!
And he pulls the trigger, and blood splatters on the camera that's sitting on the nightstand. recording this whole
thing.
Oh.
Yeah, I feel like that's a really great place to
Yeah,
send the
like
scene.
I don't know where the scene goes from there, right?
That's perfect.
Yeah.
The blood on the camera lens, I think, is.
So the believer, does it flip?
If your credulity got someone hurt in the last scene, flip this card. I think that happened. Yeah.
The rational, if your emotions were inflamed, definitely.
The filmmaker is.
If you uncovered the town's secrets, well, we uncovered that he was under
and he
control.
filmed something.
And he filmed something.
So we have a blue, and gray. Where does the man meet you? Which is the informant. I think it's called the informant. And what does he reveal to you to further your investigation?
Maybe can I make a suggestion here?
Yeah.
Pick this up in the Black Lodge.
Oh, that's not a bad idea.
Mm-hmm.
Pick
Yeah,
this up.
yeah.
Yeah, pick
So we
this up
definitely need the
in
tree.
the Black Lodge. Exactly.
Definitely need the tree. This makes sense.
Yeah, for
The
X-Files.
cigarette.
Cigarette.
I'm gonna say this represents her.
Yeah.
Okay.
This represents Alisha. So there's a voice saying, there's the right saying, go to sleep, and she's like, no, because she hasn't been injected, remember? So the voice only has...
No, they botched that. They were
Right.
trying to get into
So
inject
the voice
us, and they
only
botched
has limited power
Yep,
over her.
yep.
So she's like, no, I'm going to save my partner, and she runs. But instead of running into the next room, which she expects, she runs into the clearing or the area of the forest, which has that twisted tree beside it. In front of her, there are everyone who they think has been affected by the voice at one point, and they're all talking in unison in this dream. This includes like the sheriff and includes the student filmmaker and includes the basketball girl, and all of them are standing, and what is revealed for the investigation? All of them say, "Go to the farm. Find us at the farm. Go to the farm," which is the farm where the barrels attack them. Like, go to the farm. Go to the farm. And then there's a shadowy figure who's holding a cigarette. You don't see much. You just see the cigarette in the hand. And it's like, yes, come to the farm. Come find us at the farm.
Nice.
And then she wakes up in cold sweat. Okay, Act 3, the power of suggestion. You come to sitting in the driver's seat of a running car. You don't know how you got here. Smoke issues from under the hood, and a smear of lurid red indicates that whatever you drove into was full of blood. As a voice tells you calmly but firmly to keep your hands in sight, turn off the engine and get out of the car.
And then flip it over, and resolve is going to be a helpful prompt in this.
Include the protagonist's death.
I don't know if you want to keep doing this, but it's like Alisha in the Black Lodge. Alisha wakes up, not in bed.
Oh, in the
but in this
right.
this scene. But maybe it's someone else.
No,
maybe it's someone
that.
else who wakes
up.
It could be anybody.
But who do you want to be as the protagonist?
Who do you want to be?
So I think I'm gonna be Alisha.
Yeah.
Right. I think that makes sense. The protagonist. Teresa's actually beside me in the car. So Teresa's been basically she's believed
driving?
I've been. Oh yeah, I'm in the driver's seat.
You're in driver's.
So Ali.
What did you do?
So Teresa thinks I've been driving the whole time when I've thought I've been in the lodge, and I'm gonna say, in the car, Chris.
Chris is with us as well.
Because he, remember, took us to the farm the first time. So I'm like, huh?
What did you do? You just ran over that person.
What? What? How did I get here? What? We were just in the hotel room, and I heard your voice telling me to wake up.
We are not in the hotel room. That's a fence around this farm.
How did we come to this farm?
You just ran
over
over this, I don't know what, guard?
I have absolutely no memory of this.
It seems like we've drawn attention as other sort of trucks are sort of driving up. We see figures standing in the beds with long guns.
I'm like, okay, let's just calmly get out and tell them we're federal agents on an investigation. And
good idea.
So I
Yeah, you start to do that, and that's when red laser lights start training,
Oh, like
like-
gun?
like
yeah,
like
l-
laser
like
like
laser
things.
Yeah,
points,
like
yeah,
snipers or
like-
whatever.
And that's when Chris, fevered, sweating. It's clear that like his leg is swollen
Yeah.
and he's in terrible pain. Is like, just drive. His head explodes,
And
so does the back windshield.
And immediately, I'm so shocked. I just press the accelerate, and
And I was like opening the door to like get out and
Yeah,
like
yeah.
show them my badge, and so I'm like sort of torn out of the car basically.
And,
as I'm
yeah,
sort of
and
left on the ground.
car rushes forward. Because I'm not controlling it, and I crash into the twisted tree, and the car explodes in flame.
All right. The
Oh,
end.
okay.
That
Right?
That seems like the end.
Wow.
Let's see. So there's like a few. There's sort of like questions. For
Yeah,
them to
let's
talk
answer
about.
some questions.
So like, who do you think killed the victim? Like, who do you think was the murderer? In this?
The voice? I don't think it was any of these people.
You think it was
I-
someone else?
I think
Entirely?
it was someone else. I think it was this corporation / cult / both. We don't really know, but I know that they were like doing stuff at the farm. They were like storing things, but that's why they didn't want us to see the farm the first time. They let those barrels like crash. Towards
Yeah,
us
they
and
chased
stuff.
us away.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah, go ahead.
let you have the last word on this question, Ken. But I think I feel like it was someone who was actually against the corporation and the chemicals, and like was almost trying to draw attention to things to like blow up somebody's spot.
That's cool. So almost like a whistleblower, like this crypto
Yeah, like a
whistleblower.
whistleblower or like somebody
Mhm.
like a sort of a messed up vigilante.
Yeah.
Because like
Yeah.
all the tape was very polite and
hmm
it's just kind of weird.
Yeah.
And again, they didn't kill when they could have killed in the woods.
So it's so funny that you bring that up because that's sort of where I was going with it as well. I'm just so literal. Oh, that's so hard for me. I'm so literal, and I try and use what's in front of me all the time. So that's why I was really trying to connect the victim and the sheriff, and I think that that's where I was going with it as well. Is that the victim actually detested her friends and wanted them to die.
Mm.
Like, so that was where it was at, is that she was sort of this betrayer in the group. And for whatever reasons.
Self-loathing. For being queer.
Exactly.
Oh.
Basically, yes. And so she hooked up with the sheriff somehow, either through seduction or through just being controlled. But yeah, I was trying to sort of angle towards like the chemical or like a sort of a science and sort of magic coming together type thing with this compound, this chemical compound.
Mm-mm.
And so I think that she maybe injected herself or something like that,
Yeah.
at first. So
Interesting.
that's sort of where I was going with it.
Who's your favorite protagonist?
We know who my favorite protagonist
Oh
was.
man, yeah, we do, don't we?
Or we can open up to favorite characters.
Yeah, we didn't see Randy enough. We
Yeah.
only saw Randy once,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which was interesting.
I like the poor best friend as well.
Chris got a lot of play.
Yeah.
Like Chris was in a lot of scenes
Yeah.
actually, and Paul was in a lot of scenes, which made sense to me because I think Paul was my favorite character, honestly.
Yeah. The documentarian.
Yeah, the fucked up documentarian.
I liked the protagonists, the two like the partners.
Yeah.
I liked the team. I think we did a good job with Teresa.
we
and
didn't
Alisha.
lean into the romance aspect.
Not as much.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, had the show not ended at this episode, this
Yeah.
wasn't the series
Yeah,
finale.
exactly.
Maybe there
Interesting.
would have been a will they, won't they.
Because it's interesting because during our break, I was on Twitter and the creator of the game said, "Have a wonderful spooky romance."
I
On
know.
Twitter.
I
And I'm like,
know.
oh, but then we end up not doing the romance. We
Well,
hinted
we
at
did
it.
some romance.
We hinted
did
at
a
it.
little bit. We
I
did
even had a
little bit.
card, but you still have love, and I was actually thinking, what if? I was thinking,
you
what
should've.
if Chris and the filmmaker actually end up finding love again? But
Which character do you trust the least?
I don't know, sheriff. He was being weird with the girl.
Yeah, I agree. The sheriff
Sheriff's
was
weird.
super weird.
He was set up as kind of a bad dude. He could have been neutral, but yeah.
Yeah.
He was not a
Yeah,
good
difficult
guy.
boss.
Yeah, definitely the sheriff. I was hoping that there was going to be something between the sheriff and Randy since they were both in their like 50s.
Mm.
Yeah,
I thought there might be like a historical
Yeah.
something like
Oh.
coming back around again that they maybe had
Yeah.
experience with in the past.
And
yeah,
that we
Randy
we
was
didn't-
kind of minor.
Yeah, Randy was a super minor weirdo.
That kind of leads to the like what threads were dropped kind
Yeah.
of thing. Like we didn't
Yeah.
deal too much more with like the drug addiction. with
Yeah.
Teresa.
Yeah, and we didn't really deal with like her coming from a goody two shoes background.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
past
the mom.
memories.
The mom.
And we didn't really talk to any of the like mind control
Yeah,
people.
anybody
Yeah.
who was actually
Yeah.
in jail, we didn't interrogate
Yeah,
like anybody
we didn't.
on screen.
the-
whatever.
the-
Whatever.
The FBI just didn't really discover
Yeah,
the mind
whatever.
control until
Yeah,
later.
you know,
Also, we didn't use your past witch
Yeah.
memories.
that's true. We didn't use any of the past witch memories.
But we did kind of give her visions.
We did give her visions, and I feel like the government suggestion program blackmail thing.
yeah,
was- we leaned into that.
yeah, a
subtly.
little,
yeah, like the flash drive like disappeared.
Mm.
Like
But it
Yeah.
was that was kind of like a clue to get us into the
To the
to
blackmail.
the farm and stuff too.
Yeah, exactly.
oh,
I
was
mean,
it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, I think what John is getting at, and I totally agree with, is that all these things, just because we didn't define them at that point in time, doesn't
Yeah.
mean they're not already adding into
Right.
Yeah,
the
yeah,
overall
right.
narrative.
It's just stuff that like you could have told a story that had that too
Yeah.
if you had time,
Yeah.
kind of thing. Like
So
we could have gone and explored somebody else's relationship, but
Yeah.
we're focused on this. The camera was trained here.
Yeah.
What did you consciously draw upon in pop culture that might have you used in creating bits of the story?
Oh.
I mean, we're playing like an X-Files.
So
definitely,
that's
so
like
X Files
a
is
thing.
obviously what we're drawing on.
And then the Black
But-
Lodge came up.
Yeah,
Which
Twin
is-
Peaks.
It is specifically from Twin Peaks. I don't know if you've watched that.
I
show.
know that part.
But yeah,
I've
you know
seen
that part.
like half the
Oh,
first
oh,
season.
cool.
But and that's I guess this sort of game kind of plays like Skeletons too, where
Yeah.
you can abstract a little bit. to
Well,
your
I mean,
story.
we were drawing on some queer intersectional themes here,
Yeah.
which was pretty sick. I love having
Yeah.
that in the game, and you brought that for sure, Sharang. Thank
Yeah.
you. A bit, especially at the end there, on creepy, like voyeuristic shit, like
Mhm.
weird camera shit, like
Yeah.
people
Oh, yeah,
watching
yeah.
each other
Yeah.
through cameras.
We had this like the like not the comedic genre of like buddy cop, but the cop genre. But we flipped because it was two women,
yeah.
and one of them was a person of color.
Yeah.
so that was different.
Mhm.
And there was clearly queer romance.
Queer
going
romance
on in
there, obviously. I mean, one of them, I made her butch for a reason.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I did that.
And she was.
I mean, things got hot for Alisha at the end.
yeah, they did. Hey-oh!
So as we subverted some of those. So
If this were a TV series, would it get another season? Or like is Alisha written off and Teresa Mills gets a new partner and like a trauma?
I don't know. Maybe Alisha
I love
isn't
that.
dead.
Exactly, and she's
Oh.
not dead, but a new partner comes in, and then Alisha shows up
Yeah,
later.
later. Yeah, that's a good
of course.
one.
I mean, if it was Indian soap, which it might be in that way, she'd come back with like plastic surgery.
Of course,
and
yeah,
looks
plastic
different.
surgery. Yeah.
And looks different,
Right.
and then she's like, "Actually, I
She's
am
like-
Alisha."
She's like 3 feet taller.
Yeah.
She gets plastic surgery to look exactly like the victim.
or if it's the weird genre, she's like in another body or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah,
you know?
right. Or she got abducted just in time.
she is now a chemical compound.
Yeah. Were there any spin-offs for specific characters?
Randy gets a spin-off. Come on.
Because you want Randy to get a spin.
Ah.
I think the gang could get an.
Oh yeah,
interesting
definitely the
spin-off.
queer gang could the rebellious queer youth, the queer separatist youth gang
Yeah.
would be pretty sick to follow.
I don't know. I think the Diamond Ring Ranch, where
Diamond
where
Ring Ranch.
Huck Diamond retired.
Diamond.
I could actually see the queer gang, but not the spin-off would be the documentary about.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's fun.
With that, our story ends. So we'll return again with a new tale to spin to dare to entertain. Yep,
That's
I was
true.
one of your players, John Holt. You can find me on Twitter at Lord Joho and on Instagram at board_ghost. Ken, where can people find you?
Hey, Board Ghosts, find me, Ken, at Burlingsbeard on Twitter. And also, please tell your friends about Board Ghost about this podcast. We love playing these games. We love indie RPGs. We want to spread them to as many people as possible. So definitely do us a solid and like, subscribe, review our podcast, and please tell your friends about it.
All right. And Sharang, where can people find you and what have you been up to?
Yeah, so I'm Sharang Biswas on Twitter, and on my Twitter I link to most of my my website, my recent projects, and two projects I want to mention in particular. One, if you're into indie sort of games like these, I was part of a great anthology called You and I Role-Playing Games for Two, which is specifically, as the name suggests, role-playing games for two players. They range from funny to adventurous to serious and sad, and they're all kinds. And you can find that on DriveThruRPG. It's You and I, role-playing games for two, and I'm one of the writers. I wrote a game called Hexed, which is about rushing to finish your exams in wizard school and juggling your life, your sleep, and your studies. And the other project, if you're into the other spectrum of games, Ken and I were part of this project called the Adventure Mixtape, where we both, along with two other amazing designers, wrote D&D modules for the 5th edition, which are accompanied by original music and some original art. And it's for very different adventures, could be plopped into any urban setting. That's called the Adventure Mixtape, so please check that out. That's also on DriveThru. And support indie designers by checking them out.
All right. So to find out more about all that great stuff and to find out more about the other players and the engine in our story, go check out boardghost.com. You can attempt to pierce the veil and contact us at BoardGhostWorld on Twitter. Shout out through the ether if you have desires we can fulfill. Leave reviews on your favorite listening portal. Subscribe to us so you don't miss out on the latest episodes. Leave a review on iTunes if you can. Let people know about the show, all that good stuff. You can follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/BoardGhost. You can help contribute in making the show at patreon.com/BoardGhost. And that's all that good stuff. So again, if you'd like our theme song and interlude music, was done by Pat Couples, patcouples.tumblr.com, or his band's website, hotelsandhighways.com. And if you're not alone in the void, share our stories. The more they are consumed, the truer they become.